Hello and welcome to Peace Flows Garden. Today we're going to talk about 6 crops that we started from seed and we were able to harvest some in as little as 2 months. Here we have the sugar snap peas. We actually direct sowed these into the ground in early November and started harvesting in early January. 3 things we learned from these sugar snap peas is that they are climbers and not wrappers and need more than a single support. They taste best when they're eaten right when you harvest them. And you should probably harvest these with shears instead of trying to pick them with your fingers because they're kind of tough to pick. Okay, and here's our small kitchen garden. From this garden here, we're going to be harvesting the second crop we're going to discuss, which is the Icicle Short Top Radish. These were a little bit experimental. We did do some and started some in cups, and we also direct sow some, and they did do just fine when we direct sowed them. So 3 things we learned from these is that they're the most encouraging crop for beginners. You can harvest them as early as 50 to 60 days. They're disease and pest resistant, and they grow in the early stages of building soil. So when your soil's not necessarily, I guess, the healthiest or doesn't have all the right amendments, it grows just fine. This is our 3rd crop and is the Detroit Dark Red Beets. These one we did start in the pot and then we just broke them off and transplanted. These ones here, they actually took closer to 3 months before we enjoyed a larger part of the beetroot. And this is just the harvest from it. This is a root crop, so you do have to kind of dig a little bit, but it definitely is worth it when you pull up the reward here. So 3 things we learned from the Detroit Red Beets is that the leaves are edible and they contain actually more nutrients and minerals than the beetroot itself. It is a continual cover crop, and the beet seeds actually contain more than just the seeds, more than just one seed. So over time as they were growing, we also found out that I had to keep applying soil and topping or hilling it up with soil and compost in order for them to gain a bigger root. And here is our 4th crop, and it's the Dwarf blue curled kale. We love this one because it was, of course, it's high in nutrient, and we were able to get this superfood right from our garden. But also, these, we were able to harvest these pretty early. That is a cut and come again. This variety is slightly susceptible to leaf miners. We cook the leaves and compost the stems. They just taste better for us that way. And this particular variety of curly kale did very well for the weather that we had at the time. And now we're moving on to our 5th crop, which is the large red cherry tomatoes. These ones definitely took some patience here. We definitely let these grow in pots for a good 3 to 4 weeks to get them really strong and established so we can plant them as deep as possible. With these, we learned 3 things we learned from these is that we definitely should have installed 8 to 10 feet supports, as these are indeterminate varieties. They're best when harvested dark orange to prevent cracking, and thankfully this particular variety is disease and pest resistant. This is just another icicle radish that was planted in our lasagna garden, which is where we grew the tomatoes, and we will definitely, if you want to hear more about our lasagna garden, definitely let us know in the comments below, and we'll get into that in another video. And here is our Blue Lake green beans. These took a little while to grow too. 3 things we learned about these is versus the sugar snap peas. These are actually wrappers, not climbers. So one support would do well. We do an old palm tree. They are tender when before they start swelling, and they pretty much self-fertilize.